Hey YouTube, welcome to Suncone's Lab. Today I have a UU battle on Pokemon Showdown, and my team is basically based around stacking hazards and then spin blocking, and then using Crocodile to sweep late game. But the issue is, looking at his team, he has a Zapdos, which is immune to Earthquake, and then he has the Heracross, which is not immune, it resists both my dual stabs, which are Dark and Ground, so you know, there's nothing my Crocodile is really going to be able to do in this battle. I'm kind of afraid that I'm not going to be able to take him out because my Crocodile is meant to be my heavy hitter. He's meant to be the one who comes in at the end of the game and finishes everything up because he's got the power and the speed. He's Choice Scarfed, so yeah, I'm kind of worried that he might be able to wear my team down and eventually take me out, maybe with a Weavile or the Heracross late game if he can take out my Dusclops. So yeah, there's a few things that I'm worried about in his team, but, you know, from the start of the match, I need to figure out what I want to lead with, and I was pretty much assuming he was going to lead with a Swampert, because he might want to get up his rocks right away, considering I do have my Frostlass, which is weak to rocks, so, you know, it would be wise for him to get up his rocks as soon as possible. So I decided to just lead off with my Bronzong, because of those aforementioned reasons, and he ends up leading with his Arcanine, which is really crappy, because not only can I know that I can't live a Flare Blitz because I'm specially defensive, but I don't really have anything to take a Flare Blitz. Even my Dusclops, as you can see, can't really take Flare Blitz all that well. Even that Arcanine is definitely banded, there's no doubt about it. That damage just shows that it's banded, but it definitely does way too much, and I really wasn't happy about that. Anyway, he's forced to switch out because he can't take me out with another Flare Blitz, and I know that. So I am going straight for the substitute, and because his Porygon 2 can't touch me after I'm behind a sub, he has to go back out with his Arcanine, and at this point his Arcanine is basically, I mean, he's going to have to fodder it out if he wants to kill me, because after I got that Pain Split off on him, he's down to 50% health. I'm able to just go for a Seismic Toss, and at this point he's either going to die to the Flare Blitz recoil or to Seismic Toss from me, so my Dusclops has basically just taken out an Arcanine from full health single-handedly, which is great because not only was I able to take out the Arcanine, but I'm able to keep my Dusclops at a perfect amount of health, where it's actually able to live the incoming Heracross's Mega Horn. So I'm able to live that Mega Horn with even a decent amount of health left. 10% health left, that's decent considering how much damage I've taken so far. And I'm able to Pain Split and get that health back. And I know he might not want to stay in because he can't touch me, but I figured that it would be wise anyway to go for the Will-O-Wisp, because it's pretty obvious that he's Scarfed and that he's going to want to probably be the Moxie variant, so I just decided to go straight for the Will-O-Wisp to try and cripple him if I can. But he brings in this Porygon 2, which is fine. I'm happy with Porygon 2 being burned because it just basically means that it's going to be taking that 12% damage every turn. But because he brought us in this Porygon 2, I know that he has Toxic or Thunder Wave, and I'm assuming he would want to use either of those on my Dusclops to try and make it easier to handle, but because I have the Bronzong, I would love to be paralyzed. It would just power up my Gyro Balls, and Toxic, I'm immune to Toxic, so there's really nothing he can do to me. And I'm able to just set up my rocks as he switches into his Weavile. And I'm assuming the Weavile switch was a misclick because Weavile cannot do anything to Bronzong whatsoever. But because he switches out, I'm assuming that was a misclick, which is unfortunate. It's a wasted turn on his part, but whatever, it's not a big deal. It's part of the game, you know, sometimes you just click the wrong button. But, you know, I go for the Gyro Ball expecting him to stay in, because I didn't really know that he had misclicked at that point, and he ended up switching into a Zapdos, and then I'm able to set up both my screens, because apparently he decided to go for the Roost rather than just kill me off with the Heat Wave, which would have been a better play, but whatever, it's not really a big deal. And at this point, I just wanted to really kill him off with a Gyro Ball, or let him kill me off, but he ended up deciding to just Roost stall me. And I didn't really think about it at the time, but, well, I didn't think about it right away, but around at this point of the battle, after this turn, I realized, okay, I'm just wasting screens right now, there's no point in this, so I just switched right out into my Raikou, because I know Raikou can do a decent amount of damage to Zapdos, and Zapdos can't really do anything in return, especially with those screens up, because all of his damage is going to be halved. Even the damage that's not resisted will be halved, so I'm pretty happy with my Raikou being in there. But I know he's going to go into his Swampert, so I just decided to make a switch straight out into my Dusclops, and he does actually switch out into his Swampert, so it works out for me because I'm able to just, I can sponge anything the Swampert has unless he has Toxic, but he actually decides to go for the Stealth Rocks right off the bat, which is a good play on his part because I don't have a spinner. Stealth Rocks are pretty important, but I am able to get a burn off on him, which is great because his Waterfalls and his Earthquakes are going to do fuck all now, and especially my Dusclops, which is physically defensive, he can't really touch me except with the Roar, which I go for the substitute, and he does decide to Roar me here, which is a terrible play on my part. I should have expected that because he's obviously a defensive Swampert. He's going to have Roar. Every defensive Swampert has Roar. There's no reason why you wouldn't run Roar on the Swampert. So, because he roars me out into my Raikou, I'm expecting the EQ to be coming my way, so I just go into my Bronzong. I figure this might be a chance for me to set up maybe my Light Screen or maybe my Reflect, maybe just one screen, and that would be useful for me in the end, but unfortunately he just goes for the Roar again, I guess expecting my switch, and he roars me out to my Dusclops, and because of the fact that I'm at such low health, I'm assuming he thought that he could kill me, but the Waterfall only does 8%. Even if he had gone for EQ, it only does about 10%. And with the burn, I mean, he's doing basically no damage to my Dusclops. If I had leftovers, obviously I have Eviolite, but with leftovers, he would be doing literally no damage to me, so I mean, it was very pointless for him to stay in here, and he just basically continues going for Earthquakes and Waterfalls, respectively, and trying to kill me off. But because of the burn, because of the fact that I have Seismic Toss to deal damage in return, he really can't touch me, and I'm able to just kill him off with the last Seismic Toss. So far, my Dusclops has taken out an Arcanine, has taken out a Swampert, and it has really hurt this Heracross significantly. And as you can see right here, I'm actually about to basically put the nail in the coffin of the Heracross because now it's burned. Like I said, I'm pretty confident that it's Moxie. I'm not sure even now. It may have been Guts, but I really doubt it because if he was Guts, he would have wanted to switch in on a burn at some point, and he never really made any attempt to do that, so I'm assuming that he's Moxie. And because he locked himself into EQ, I'm able to go into my Bronzong, and I know this is a perfect situation for me to just set up my screens, but I'm assuming he thought I would switch. I don't know why I would switch, because, I mean, I'm in the perfect position right now to set up my screens. He knows I'm a screen variant already, so I don't understand why he would decide to stay in an EQ, but at this point he does decide to switch out, which is a smart idea on his part. But because he went for that second EQ, it actually just enables me to get up my second screen, and not only that, but my Bronzong is still alive, and I'm able to fodder off my Dusclops. And the reason why I decided to fodder off my Dusclops is because his Arcanine is dead, his Swampert is dead, and his Heracross is dying on rocks upon switching, and everything else on this team deals with my Dusclops relatively well. So it's really just dead weight at this point. And because he kills off my Dusclops, I'm able to get a free switch into my Mienshao, and with the screens and because Weavile is not banded or anything, I'm able to just take that Ice Punch really well, kill him off with a high jump kick, and there goes his Weavile. And he doesn't really have anything on his team that really wants to take on my Mienshao because the Zapdos is at such a low health, especially after the Stealth Rock switch in, that a Stone Edge is actually going to take it out. So Zapdos goes down, and at this point he has the Porygon 2, which is weak to fighting, and the Heracross, which dies to rocks on switching. So there really isn't much that he can do to avoid his fate, so to speak. So I'm able to just take him out with a high jump kick, and then his Heracross is going to die on the switch-in from Stealth Rocks. So that's pretty much the end of the game. It was a pretty easy match. Well, it wasn't an easy match. I had a lot of thought in the actual match itself. I had to think a lot, but the score doesn't really reflect how much effort I actually put into making this battle go well. But yeah, I mean, it was obvious that my team kind of outpowered him because he really didn't have anything that could touch my Dusclops, and that was really the main thing that really caused issues for him, was that he had nothing to touch my Dusclops, and he probably should have brought in the Weavile earlier to try and hit my Dusclops, but it probably would have been futile anyway because I could have burned him, and then I could have just switched out into anything that would take him on, aka, you know, my Bronzong or me and Chow could take most of his hits, at least one of them. So, I mean, it probably wouldn't have changed the outcome, but it probably would have been a better idea for him to try and take out my Dusclops as soon as possible. But whatever, what's done is done. It was a good game. I had fun playing it, and despite the end score, it was actually a relatively decent game. I mean, it was a 30-turn game, and in my opinion, if somebody lasts at least 20 to 25 turns, that's an okay game. If somebody lasts 30 plus turns, then they're doing okay. They're not terrible. So this guy did okay, and I just don't want you to look at the score and say, "Whoa, that was such an easy game," because it really wasn't. I actually had to do a lot of thought about every play I made, and sometimes I can't really reflect that in the live commentary. I mean, in the non-live narration that I do on these battles. But obviously, if you could be in my head during battles, you would understand more or less what's going through my mind, more than I can do right now, because I don't remember everything that was going through my mind, and I can't fit all of that in the time that the battle goes on, hence why I tend to ramble at the end of the fucking battle. So, yeah, hence why the battle was, 9.5 minutes long, and I'm still rambling at 11 minutes. So, I'm just gonna shut up now, because I'm wasting my time and wasting your time. So, thanks for watching the video. Feel free to hit the like button if you enjoyed the battle, and subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future, and I will see you next time.